Hey friends, few of you have been discovering the Money Dirt series I did this summer, and I've been so touched by the feedback I've received about it being helpful. So if you haven't seen one before, what it is hi, I'm Isa. I'm the marketing confidence cheerleader. I own a digital marketing agency called Isa Messaging, and 2023 was a year where I was really coming to realize that I had a lot of emotional blocks to receiving money and receiving sales. So I went on this big shadow work journey of trying to figure out what it was, what in my history, in my mindset, in my programming was making it so hard for me to charge appropriately for my services and to receive money and beyond that, to receive positive feedback, accolades, actually getting the things I want in life, etc. And so this is a little bit of an overshare series, so just FYI if you don't want to know that kind of thing. But I had another realization come up today about another money block that I wanted to share with y'all to see if it resonates or helps anyone else out there. And this one is around victim mentality, which is not a comfortable thing to think about. And I want to preface this by saying the intention of sharing this is absolutely not to blame anyone who is a victim or has survived any sort of abuse or oppression or maltreatment. This is about me taking accountability for the identities I've assumed that have been blocking me getting the kind of money that I want in my business. So I was just out walking my dog, and I was thinking about a recent breakup and then some past relationships. And I was thinking about the ways in which I made myself small, or in which I would not share successes, or I learned not to share successes early on given the reaction of my partners. And if there are any other baddies out there who have made their partners really uncomfortable by out earning them or getting awards or something, etc., let me know, because I think this is a common thing for a lot of femmes. And I was noticing in some of my past romantic relationships how much more comfortable my partner would seem to feel when I was struggling. They'd seem much more comfortable and at ease, and they wouldn't know how to react if I get the raise or I get the award or I get the sales or I'm no longer on the struggle bus. They didn't really seem to know how to process that. But when I was in struggle bus and I was looking to them for support or kind of looking up to them, etc., they seemed much more comfortable with that power dynamic, this difference between roles. And I think that this is something for a lot of people who grew up in abusive conditions or households that you had to learn how to do as a kid. You had to learn how to make yourself smaller, less threatening, because if you're big and a competitor, etc., there's more fighting, there's more conflict. And when you make yourself small, there is less. And so many things we learned in childhood when we don't properly process and integrate them and take them forward with intention if we think they still serve us, or lovingly let them go if they're no longer serving us. I think this habit just stuck around. This just stuck around, particularly in my interactions with romantic partners, where I'm I don't want to be too big or they're going to be uncomfortable, and I don't want to make people uncomfortable, and I just want people to love me. But you can see, as someone who owns her own business, who is serving a lot of clients, who has a chronic illness and needs to be very judicious and intentional about how I spend my time and what I charge for it, or everything's going to fall apart. That is not a mentality that works anymore. It is not the rescue me, I'll do whatever you want, don't hurt me, that I am just a small, helpless, delicate flower. That don't work. That don't fit with the boss babe I'm trying to be and embody. This new identity has to be okay with, if my bigness makes you uncomfortable, you can go. If my prices make you uncomfortable, you can find another provider. If you think I'm too expensive, you can find cheaper somewhere else. But if you want me, these are the conditions to work with me. These are the conditions I need to not have to make myself smaller, to not have to harm myself in order to be in connection with you and to be able to do my best work for you. These are the conditions and the boundaries that I need to meet. And by boundaries, I mean, this is how much time I'm willing to spend on you. This would be outside the bounds of the scope of work. This is how much money I need to work with you. There is a limit to how many work trades I can accept. There is a limit to how long I can wait for feedback before your spot on my calendar goes to someone else who got me stuff on time. There's a lot of boundaries in there where that, as an empowered person or a person that's going to be the success, hit the level of success and recognition and money that I want in my business, I really have to be empowered enough to claim. So I need to claim and set boundaries. I need to be really okay with losing people who aren't able to rock with those boundaries and conditions. I need to be really okay with people not liking me. I need to be really okay with my bigness threatening people and making them leave. I have to be really okay with that, because if I keep people around who are threatened and do not like my success, it makes them feel some type of way and makes them lash out at me or withdraw from me and cause me pain, then I will be continuously incentivized to stay small. So I have to get really okay with being big enough to scare the fuck out of people. I need to get really comfortable with being big enough for people not to want to be in relationship with me because it makes them uncomfortable about themselves. I have to be really, really comfortable with people trying to pick fights or derail me or sabotage my success when it makes them feel some type of way. And then in those instances, the move is not to get small and appease and try to get them to calm down and feel better. The move is to show them the door, to be like, this is me. I'm not making myself smaller. If it makes you uncomfortable, you can go. So, and I think all of this sounds like, yeah, go girl, rock out babe, girl power or whatever. And maybe for some of you who can't relate to being in relationships like this, you're like, girl, why would you even entertain that? But here's the thing. If you can relate to what I'm saying about you getting really comfortable in a victim identity and I'll just stay small and you can be big sort of habit, the reason why it's hard to stop doing that is because that is a safety mechanism. That is how you learn to be safe in the relationships you were in. And when you decide, I don't want to do that anymore, that means then that you also don't want the people that require you to do that anymore, which means you might be shaking up your inner circle pretty hardcore. You might be shaking up your clients hardcore. You might be shaking up your networking groups, your communities where you invest hardcore. So anywhere where you feel compelled, where the only way you feel safe is to get smaller, all that has got to go, which for me has meant really drastically changing the circumstances of my life and the people in it. And that's scary. That's scary to step into the unknown, especially if you have become so accustomed to abusive dynamics. You haven't been shown people are willing to respect your boundaries. People haven't liked you when you've grown and gotten bigger and been more successful and achieved more. It is scary. It is scary. And it's also scary to be like, okay, well, if I'm not that, if I am not a victim anymore, if I'm no longer willing to be a victim, what am I? Who am I? Who will be there? What will my circumstances be? How will I know how to relate to people? Like, the unknown is so scary for so many people. I think it's evolutionary because it's easier to manage circumstances you've navigated before, and like your system only knows that you are for sure that you can survive what you've already survived, and it doesn't know that you can survive what you haven't encountered yet. So I think it's kind of like a primordial fear to like change your life, your identity that much out of victim mentality if you had to learn it really early on. But I also think it's totally possible to do it. And especially if you have a supportive, loving community like the Squad, which is my group marketing confidence cheerleading program, where you always have somewhere to go where you're going to be hyped up, where you're going to be reminded of your value and your worth, where you don't have to spiral in doom and self-doubt and feelings of, can this work? Is my work worth it? Will anybody be willing to respect my pricing, time, scope of work boundaries, etc., etc. The Squad is the place where it's going to build you up, where you are not going to be asked to be small ever, where everyone is going to feel uplifted by you growing, by you reaching your goals, by you succeeding, by you getting bigger and bigger and bigger and more and more and more terrifying. So if you need a community where you want to be terrifyingly successful and have so many cheerleaders hyping you on, validating you, come join the Squad. It is the place to be. Feel free to DM me if you have any questions. Link is in my bio to learn all about it and whether it's a good fit for you and your business. Let me know if any of this resonates. DM me, send me a comment, email me. Always love to chat. Hope you have a great rest of your day.